So if you go to the TagoIO website right now, resources, and then dashboard templates, when you click on get templates, you'll actually be on this page here. And if you click on transportation, you'll see some dashboards here that have tracking appropriate properties, right? So we have a bus tracker and telemetry. This gives us the location outdoor in an outdoor manner. We have refrigerator truck tracker. That is one model that I'm going to show also now. And also refrigerator track monitor hub. So these are the templates that we have that are completely modular. You can add more widgets, change the colors, the themes into your appropriate solution that matches your branding, right? So I did some of this, and now I have my blueprint refrigerator truck right here. So how do I get the devices from Lansitec? So I go here to add devices. You can type here on the search Lansi, and then you'll have the list of devices, and some of the ones that Lee showed is already here, integrated and ready to go. So if you want to talk to Lee about these devices and the options and how to bring this to the market, Lee, feel free to put your LinkedIn on the chat so the customers can contact you. Or if you are already a customer of TagoIO and you want to talk a little bit more deeper, have a demo about it, we can also connect you with Lee, and then we'll go to the next steps and see how we can understand the solution well and help you out on that. So right here, I would select, first of all, my Bluetooth solar gateway. That is the one that I actually have on me right now, as I was showing before. So this one right here, again, very nice gateway. So I will then select the network that I want to assign to it. As this is the LoRaWAN version of it, we already have many LoRaWAN providers already integrated into TagoIO. After selecting a LoRaWAN provider, I set my data retention, and then my device is added to Tago. The next step will be very easy. Will be a matter of coming to one of these widgets or creating new widgets and assigning that particular variable into my device. So my device is going to start streaming the data, and I start plunging that in on my graph. So for example, here I can see the route of a particular truck that's going all the way from Detroit to Wyoming. And this is a regular route that it does. I can see the fluctuations in temperature and humidity on all three sides of the truck, and also have a visual perspective on how that's looking like right now and the positions. On the bottom, through an automated process, you can see where the trip begins, where it ends, when it's delivered, or if any of the zones are out of the temperature range that we have set. So this is an example with the dashboard template, but now I'm going to show you something much more powerful than that. For you to get there, you'll go to the TagoIO page, Resources, Kickstarter. When you hit Download Kickstarter, you'll be redirected to our GitHub. If you scroll a little bit down, you'll see this option right here, Access the Imports tool. Once you click on this, you'll then be redirected to this dashboard, which you can import all the entities of this RTLS application. And what you're getting with that? Well, if I go back here to my admin, so let me go back here, and I'm going to switch to my RTLS Kickstarter. And now we're going to dive a bit. And just by the way, everyone, we've already done a webinar specifically on this Kickstarter. So if you want to know about it in detail, feel free to search on our webinar lists and videos that you'll find a detailed explanation about how this Kickstarter works, what you need to customize it, and all the possibilities from this point forward to adding your logic to what makes sense to your customers and users to apply. So let's open here distribution center. This will be one of my customers inside my application. Inside this customer, now I have 3 locations here. So if I go to Bridgeport Warehouse, for example, I can then see all my pallet names right here. So all the pallets inside this warehouse, and which floor it is. So inside the Bridgeport site, I can still have Bridgeport East warehouse and Bridgeport South warehouse. That means that I can switch between floor plans here. And the 3 pallets that I have on this part assigned to this region, they are here. So I have pallets 248, I have pallets 241, and I have pallets 242. So when we look at the outside view, I can see that this particular pallet that is on Hoboken right now has a temperature of 31.8 degrees, luminosity 90%. That means it is on an external area. It's already external of the truck. He might be downloading this truck. So if I switch then to my floor and beacon setup, I see my indoor plant and how I have positions the beacons behind. So that is where we get these bad boys here to work. So in each one of these blue points, we have a beacon like this that will help us to pinpoint the position and see our shipments going back all the way to entering the warehouse and leaving the warehouse once it has been prepped and processed, right? So let me just go back here. So how do I create alerts now, right? So on the Kickstarter, we offer 2 models that you can use as a beginning, but you can add other logic to it. So right now I have an alert that will let me know when my equipment enters the warehouse and when my equipment leaves the warehouse. But I can add stuff in between there. So once my equipment enters the warehouse, it will let me know, okay, equipment entered the warehouse, prepare the driver to pick up this equipment. So the driver will receive the notification while he is running over to relocating to pick up this shipment. Then I would prep this shipment and will move all the way to the other side of the warehouse where it's going to leave the warehouse. So it's going to go through my threads, and when it's all on the other side of the thread, going out of the warehouse, it will let me know this equipment is ready for pickup, is right at the door. But what is in between there that we could think about that could optimize my process? First of all, it's dwell time. If I receive an equipment and that equipment have been sitting on the warehouse for X amount of time, then that might be a problem, because either that equipment is never going to be picked up, or it's going to be delivered late. And so that's just some of the possibilities, right? Another thing in between is who was working on that equipment. So I have the sensor on my actual pallet or container, right? So I have this sensor there. But who is working on tracking that equipment and responsible for that equipment? So then, like Lee showed, I would have my tags here. So A, I'm tracking my equipment and my shipments, and B, I'm actually tracking my workers. So I'm using 2 use cases here in one. So that is an example that we can think about safety, we can think about optimization, right? So that is dwell time, checking if the equipment has been prepped and sent out in a decent amount of time. And on the other side is tracking my workers inside the warehouse. Which worker was assigned to work on that equipment, and how long was this transition? So now if I look at how long and who did it and how they did it, I can be in a constant involvement inside that company, inside, and working on that process, because then I would have an application that would work on get this data for me, and eventually I can automate to have always the best practice possible inside that particular environment, right? And you could, it's not limited to tracking other things inside the solution. This is all things that we can incorporate it. We could track the actual forklifts, other than the personnel, and also the shipment that is arriving. But we also can generate PDF reports of all this, and provide access to the end user of each step of the process, so that the end user can be tuned about it and be confident that his equipment is moving as fastly as possible in the most safely environment that it can. He knows that his equipment did not had any sudden stops. It didn't move inside the truck. It was within the temperature, and whoever was working on it did a great job packaging and prepping it. So then I can build a nice report to go with this shipment and say, hey, here's your report. Here's how we guarantee that your shipment was within all the conditions that we promised, right? To set then these geofences, you can navigate a little bit more on the Kickstarter and implement these changes to apply the logics that your customer is looking for, and then tie that to your application, using these devices as a manner. So I'm gonna open the floor now for Q&A. Please, if anyone have any questions for me in regards to the to TagoIO and the platform and the tools that we provide to get this accomplished, or for Lee for the hardware, and any question specific about the hardware, please